Hold on. Let me see if I can bring it up because I closed it down.
Wait, what Blitz map? Are you talking about season 2? Okay, you linked season 1.
On season 2, if you look at the map Blitz,
Alright, let me go take a look at that.
yeah, it's I posted on Skype,
Right.
and you can see like there's two eyes, and like the bottom, it looks like the mustache from the face on the which is the logo of the Pringles.
Right, right.
Is that possible?
No, because I like remember like some of the VODs that had like the Pringles logo like etched inside the map.
Huh. Well, I figured if anything looked like a face, it's the map Blitz.
Hmm. I'm trying to do some work for Counter Strike about
Yeah.
in-game advertising. So I'm trying to take examples from other places. Cause I think let me see if I can't find some VODs about it. I'll feature my own stream. See what happens.
Hmm.
We are good to go. Esports.
I was watching the Sonic stream for like the past 20 minutes, and now it's down.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh, I see something
The Snipe stream or
on Source on Sonic's Africa stream.
oh okay. I'm just seeing
Oh, good.
flags.
You linked your stream here in the LR.
Oh, thanks.
I gotta pop out your chat.
So I have it in DLR already.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to do another
Now, if people want to talk trash about us, I can read it.
link.
It's important. Can't get better unless you just have your whole day ruined by demoralizing comments.
Okay, I think I know what happened. FF. I'm good. MPEG went down a little bit. I'll work on this article later.
Yeah. Non-stop work, right?
The life of staffers. It's not really pertinent, but it kind of started a knee-jerk reaction because what happened was that one of the like the various Counter-Strike gambling websites sent me
Right.
a Twitch message, and I got really ticked off of that
Really?
because one, how did they know find my Twitch information? Two, why would they blatantly try to advertise there?
Right.
It was like the message was basically download our like jackpot client and you get $10 worth of credit.
Hmm.
I think we're going to.
Yep, it looks like we're having the early intro here.
Mm-hmm.
So are we live now?
We've been live for a couple minutes already.
Okay, cool, sweet. Hello, everybody. This is BisuDagger on the microphone. Your host XKCD is awesome enough to stream this for us.
I'm trying to make sure everything works right now.
If you guys aren't aware, Sale is actually in France, and he's on a little bit of a vacation for a couple weeks, so it'll just be the two of us as we try and get through the month of July.
Yeah, we got the casting arc.
That's right.
The new one. The KSL.
Yeah, it hasn't been the two of us since the KSL, and I was just thinking about that today because Group A, which is like a super good group, has Mind in it, and Mind is the KSL winner.
Yeah.
Now I was reading through the preview, and Preach puts him as one of the players who won't advance and sack an effort over Movie and Mind. And I thought that was pretty interesting that he's coming in pretty undervalued, I would say, considering his...
Yeah, sorry about that. I accidentally closed the call while I was trying to close auto notifications. So we are back on the microphone.
Okay, what's up? Well, so you missed everything I said?
I understood what you were trying to say. But the thing I want to point out, though, is that Mind's success in the KSL wasn't because he had the hardest opponents, but rather because he just got really lucky. So now they had better opponents, in which he has Movie, Sock, and Effort. I think that's actually probably the hardest group out of all four. This would be a true test of whether or not he's the number one Terran to be.
Exactly.
Whether or not his KSL wins the fluke. So.
Yeah, and his strategy in the KSL really was sort of like an all-in-ish style. so really it left a lot to be desired as far as his strategies go, but maybe he knew he was looking in the future and saying, I've got a lot up my sleeve, but I'm not quite there yet to pull off the late game macro wins. And if he does that against a player like, let's say, Sack, who has a 64% TVT win rate, then that would be absolutely huge. Defeating him or last would just be really putting him on the map as far as his TVT goes.
Right. Is there a way for me in the new Windows 8.1 Skype to change these notifications?
I do everything by going to Tools, Options,
right.
and then like, are you talking about sounds? Because I just disable all sounds. And then there's a notifications thing too, and you can go to notifications and deselect all the things you don't want.
Got it. There we go.
Yep.
Awesome. So I'm going to do that quickly.
And that's about as much as IT work I'll do today.
We are good to go. Hopefully there'll be no annoying staff chat in the background. You don't just listen to the other contract staffers talk.
Yeah, so we have a solid day ahead of us. And for you guys who aren't aware of the format and gone on Team Liquid to read how that's going to work, it's going to be 2 players from each group of the 4 groups in the round of 16 that are going to be playing. And so we're going to see Sack versus Movie from Group A, Killer versus Zero in Group B, Mong versus Hyuk in Group C, and Bisu versus Larva to round everything up at the bottom in Group D. And I think today's games are going to be phenomenal, just based on the star power that's going to be showing up today.
You know, the interesting part about this format is, even though it's like they kind of rushed it, they're still giving players about 3 to 4 days between each game. Even though it's only a best of 1, though, like I would have preferred seeing like a best of 3. They're going to give players that much time to prepare.
Yeah, it feels a little bit cheapened, especially in the round of 16. And you know what could really happen is the players like Sack, who got seeded into the round of 16, we could see him lose, two of his games and be out of this tournament.
Right. Especially because the maps aren't really that Terran favored, as one might say.
Right. Yeah, we definitely had some issues with the round of 24. With the final map being Heartbreak Ridge, only 1 Terran was able to advance, and that's because Mind didn't have to play on Heartbreak Ridge. We saw players like Sharp, who played really well against Movie, and then Movie just scraped by being able to win on Heartbreak Ridge. So, kind of cheapened the experience for Terran fans as far as that round of 24 goes.
That's why, like, I'm a voucher for like the round of 3. Because it's fine to do round of 1 if you have, like, let's say, the earlier stage of the tournament, example, round of 24, round of 36, even. But this would be quite interesting to see, though. Like, what's the players going to think of when they have 3 days to prepare for one single match?
Right.
Like, one map at a time, one opponent at a time. So it'll be quite interesting to see the build that they prepare. So we will definitely see some higher level play that we have seen in the round of 24, which I will be glad to hopefully cast.
So yeah, and then like let's take Bisu versus Larva for instance. That they actually played a really good match, even though Bisu cheesed out Larva in the beginning. It turned into a long game where Bisu just actually barely beat Larva, in my opinion. And so Larva's coming into this. He's got 2 other games that he can win and still have a chance to advance. So does he go against Bisu and say, I should come out with a really early all-in or a heavy timing attack early in the game to try and get this quick win against someone who is predicted to be the top player in this group? Or try and go for that macro game and put himself in a situation, if he loses here, he might be out.
Well, the thing for Bisu, though, is that he has Heartbreak Rage at his last map, so he can actually afford to pick a riskier build order for one of the earlier maps, provided that he gets at least 1 win. And let's say he wins today against Larva, he can then decide to do like a cheese strat against whoever he plays next, and still have that Heartbreak Rage as a fallback option. I don't think we have actually seen a Protoss player lose against a Terran in this tournament yet, which is quite surprising. Then again, not surprising at the same time, due to the dynamics of the map.
Right. And then the real toss-up here among all 4 games that are going to get played today is definitely Killer versus Zero. And both of these players, didn't they lose to Quanro in the KSL?
Yep.
Right. And so people talk about how Killer has this monster ZVZ. Well, he didn't pull out that monster ZVZ just a couple months earlier in this year. And then Zero also just, he only showed like 1 or 2 really good games against
See,
Quanro.
what happened was that Zero was like had the humongous advantage going into game 3, but then we witnessed it. We saw Zero like did the 5-pool rush with the forward sunken.
Right.
And then basically that put Zero on full tilt.
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking about, like, you know, the mental control over it.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because we've also seen situations where Zero, when he has days off between his losses, he can bounce back. And one example was the Mong versus Zero series, where he lost in day 1, but then came back the next day, where his mind was more focused again, and won the next 2 games. So even if Zero does lose the Killer, we have a better chance of seeing Zero advance just because he's going to have...
Right.
이번 시즌에서 박신을 심어줘야 될 것 같습니다.
맞습니다. 선수 시절에 가지고 그 하늘 자 스웨덴 스타리그에서 마음껏 펼치길 기대하겠습니다. 자 최우선 선수와 대결을 펼칠 선수는 바로 진영화 선수입니다. 가장 마지막에 스타리그를 합류.
So apparently I somehow managed to crash Skype while trying to fix the volume control. Because people are saying that you're too loud and I'm too soft. Oh no. Skype, please. Skype! I really do hate this doing it.
진영아 선수가 본래의 모습을 찾는데 약간은 자극제가 되지 않았나 이런 생각이 들거든요.
그러게 말이에요. 야 이것도 뭐 발끈하게 되면 한 가지 진영화 선수가 건강 상태가 완전히 좋지 못해서 계속 마식을 쓰고 있기는 합니다만.
Yo, so apparently I managed to crash Skype.
진영화의
Once again.
Oh no.
And my shockwave crashed as well, so let's get this quickly booted up again.
Alright, and we're actually seeing a quick pan of the crowd. We saw the players earlier. So hang tight, guys. I don't know if you can see the audio yet, but it's just the intro clip, and the game will be starting very shortly. I'm excited, along as the rest of you guys are, to be going into this game.
I am very excited for this.
Okay, so let's talk some statistics here, because his statistics are just monstrous. It doesn't matter what matchup you talk about, but looking at his TVP, he actually has a 55% win rate, and that's really, really good. And when you think about Movie, who's someone who isn't even in the top 10 ELO right now, everybody thinks, well, he's kind of slumped off since he hasn't gotten any good results since his bronze finish in the 9th SSL. But he has a 59% win rate in PV. Well, I'm sorry, a 53% win rate in PVT, and that's still really good. That's above that halfway mark. So I think that he has a solid chance here if he can pull out his 2014 PVT.
Well, we'll see what happens. I want to tell, and we are now live in the game here. We got Mind as our red player, and we got Movie as our yellow Protoss. Alright. The map is going to be Circuit Breaker, so we're going to see the horizontal spawns here, so I expect these games to actually be pretty short. But this could definitely be a Mako game.
My favorite part about this spawn position is what I like to call the pit at the 6 o'clock position. And when those battles go down into that pit with that expansion with the downward ramps, it gets really, really interesting to see how those battles are going to play out. And if either player will choose to expand in the direction towards their opponent or just work their way up north.
Alright, that is definitely true. We do have Mind starting out at SCV. Oh, it's Sock playing? Well, tell Patrick it's Sock, not mine. Alright. Thanks, Blindrar. Anyways, we have the players mixed up once again. This is very typical of us, KSL casters. We are terrible at names.
It happens. So he is building that barracks at the bottom, and we didn't see that refinery go up yet, and so that's going to lead to a more brass expand style build instead of the fake double.
Right, but it's still fine though. You can definitely have the barracks at the national. You can have the supply depot, and you can have the command center. It's a very simple, fast expand while still being safe from early zealot pressure. So if we do know that Movie is quite fond of the early zealot pokes that he likes to do.
So, yeah, that's one of his key components in his style. It's like he wants to make sure that if he has an extra zealot available, send it to his opponent's base, trying to pick off an SCV or two, and delay anything he can in the early stages of this PVT.
Right. So we do have the first Marines going to be built out. Now, Sock's going to now throw down the command center. I'm wondering if that's going to be Zealot tight in between. And looks like Sock is actually going to reposition his barracks. Meanwhile, we have the first Zealot out for Movie. He's going to be scouted in the wrong direction. So this would only help Sock further his economic advantage he has at the moment.
Yeah, that's really good for him right now, especially going with that faster expand. He's going to get away with being greedy thus far in this game. So we do see that pylon is being placed in a really good position to scout for dropship style play later on in this game. If Sack goes for vulture drops.
Right. Is that a Dragoon I see in the minimap? That looks like to be a Dragoon to me.
Yes, it does look like that sort of a weird, awkward Dragoon style pathing, the way it walks across the map.
Alright, so we got the SCV and the Zealot meet up top of the map. Zealot's going to take a couple pot shots at the SCV. And I'm interested in seeing that Movie wants to kill off the scouting SCV before it gets the chance.
Well, you know what, too? I think he with the way the SCV was coming, that he thinks it's a late scout from Sack, and that he actually is at the top left corner of the map. So a little bit of a trickery there.
Right, but what's also interesting to note here is that now Sock has no idea what Movie's game plan is going to be. It could be a rush, it could be an expand as we're seeing right now. It could be anything right now. Sock is going to get another SCV out, so this shouldn't be too bad. But we're now going to see Movie have two Dragoons in front of Sock's natural. And I'm not sure if range is done yet. No, the range is not done yet. Ooh, that is an early robotic facility. Are we going to see some drops happen?
Yeah, it looks like it. And now range is done, so he's just going to be able to apply pressure on that front bunker. And, yeah, the question is it going to be for Reavers, or is he just going to try and get that shuttle out to maybe drop some Zealots on the high ground?
Well, I've always been a fan of Bulldog, but I have yet to see any Bulldog in the last couple of years, so I think
it kind of seems to have fallen out of popularity. I think maybe we've had really one Bulldog style build in the past 2 or 3 years.
Kind of makes me sad.
Yeah.
So it's definitely looking to be Reaver play. It could just also be early observers too. If Movie wants to play it really safe here.
Right. Well, he is getting the academy, so that's going to help shore up any style DT style play from Movie, which it doesn't look like we're going to see here.
So if the interesting thing to note that it though, Sock could have probably just went his engineering bait, want to get the detection first.
Right.
Because you only need the academy if you're unsure of what tech your opponent might be going. So
that, or if you're going to build a couple barracks and go for an early bio mech push.
I don't think Sock would want to risk that. This is not the kind of map you can do it on. Because
no, and he's a pretty standard player.
No, it's not just that though. It's the issue with the choke points. Because with bio, it works on maps like Fighting Spirit, where it's very open, so that the bio doesn't necessarily get clumped up to, let's say, Storm or Reavers.
Right.
But with this map where you have the bridges and the various other choke points, it's a very big issue for the bio to push out. And we are going to see that robotics bay. So first tank is now seized out for Sock. That should be able to push Movie back a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm curious if he's going to try and run in and try and pick off that tank. Sometimes that's an opportunity seized when you have that many Dragoons at the front of your Terran opponent's base.
Well, the issue with that is that if it fails, Movie only has one gateway out at the moment right now. So he's going to fall behind in complete map control. And he's not going to have any support for his Reavers that's about to pop out right now.
Oh, it'll be very hurtful if these Vultures are able to sneak out too. Sack looking to find that opportunity. And Movie is actually going mineral heavy right now. He hasn't built a simulator at his natural base. So really, he can get out his Reavers, but he's going to have to dump the rest of his minerals either in the gateways or zealots.
Oh wait, are these Vultures going to scout the shuttle? Oh, the Vultures are going to scout
and they do see it. A Scarab could hit those Vultures, though. Oh, and it's going to nut out.
Okay.
Oh, it's still
Oh, what a Scarab shot.
That was awesome. You never see Scarabs travel that far. And now the Observer out, too. So, a really good play for Movie, being able to see these Spider Mines and defend at the front. Nicely placing those pylons, too. Okay, so the Reaver inside of that main base. Is it going to get a shot off? It's going to completely dud out here.
Right. And this is the problem I was having with the engineering bay not being built out. Sock's now building it now, but if he had the engineering bay first, this would have been so much better for him.
Right.
And it's the part unfortunate the movie is actually getting the 2 dud shots already. He does get a good hit off, but it only gets killed 2 SCVs. And that Reaver's also at low health, so he can't really do much. However, Scott was actually very lucky with his play he did there. He was able to scout out the early third, and he might be able to sneak in a Vulture. Nope.
Oh, so close. Yeah, it looks like Movie will be able to get away with this third for now, though. He has a decent army. The Citadel dropping down, so he's looking to go for that later tech, trying to probably go for some Stargate play or later on in this game. And so with the turrets up, it looks like that shuttle is actually trapped inside of the main base. And the Reaver's too weak to even be placed down right now, so he'll just be camping in the back there. I wonder if Sack will pull out a Marine to try and hit that shuttle. Oh yeah, and a few Marines are going to come out from that natural base. Still just kind of just scraping its way down the side, somehow managing to stay alive.
I find it quite funny.
Yeah, so playing that back and forth game, running them in circles. Okay, so Sack did take his third base too, so both have those mineral only bases.
However, Sack is going to Scott's going to lose this. He's going to lose this. He has no defense for it.
He's going to have to pull some SCVs for repair.
SCV-embo.
Yeah, but even with that repair, if he wisely focuses down some SCVs, he could just chip away at that worker count.
Right. And that was actually quite a smart play from Movie, though. Like, he was using he basically forced Sock to pull all of his tanks away from the third, try to poke him with the third. Now that Sock pulled his tanks away, he now has the main base open.
Oh, man. And that was awesome. With that Zealot and the Reaver drop, he was able to take out a tank.
Right. And I think this is like basically Sock's having poor multitasking right now.
Yeah, this is looking really good for Movie. A much better showing than his passive style across the map against Sharp.
Right, and we do have Movie actually expanding to the 4th while this is all happening as well. So Movie going towards his heavy macro gameplay once again. We are going to see Arbiters come out pretty soon, though. You got the Stargate and the Arbiter Tribunal coming out pretty soon. And the shuttle is still alive. How?
Wow.
Why are there not any? Is there a Goliath that's going to come out soon to kill it? Because
I don't know. Is he going to get a shot off too? Well, with the Vulture kill there, I mean, the Reaver does die off, but I feel like as a Terran player, you just it's better to not even have to worry about babysitting. Just get those Marines out and use them to the best of your ability to kill off that shuttle instead of just allowing it to strafe back and forth inside of your base.
Right. It's about that having a peace of mind because Sock doesn't have to worry about it. He can focus attention towards other parts of the map. Because the issue right now is that even though Sock has established his 3rd base, he has yet to do any form of map control with mines or with vultures besides the initial 6 vulture push out, which is now really quite suffering because Movie's able to get that 4th up for relatively little or no cost. And Movie is able to set up favorable positions outside of Sock's natural and 3rd base.
Right. We are seeing that a starport is finished up, and I'm sure he's just going to be going for that science vessel assistance when he does push out with his core army. Arbiter tech is already finished up, and we saw Arbiters being produced in the Stargate. So now Movie's sitting on 4 bases. He's looking really good economically, and Sack's probably looking for that 3 base 200 push before to try and take a 4th expansion.
Right. You know what's actually interesting to note? That Sack's building that supply depot right close to that pit that you were talking about at the start of the game. I'm wondering if Sack actually wants to expand to the 6th there and use that as a launch pad to like do a continuous a mech push.
Right. Because if you can get tanks on the low ground and keep them defended right at that mineral only, and that's a lot of probe kills.
Wow, that is a lot of probe kills.
Wow. So they seem to be trapped in here. They can't run away. So instead, they're just going to continue to do their job as normal. Some Protoss commander's a real jerk, tells those workers to continue to mine.
Right.
And yeah, so if he can get some tanks on the low ground, and Movie can't get in there to pick them off, then it's going to be really hard to take that base. So that could be a really stronghold move for Sack.
Right. We do have the +1 weapon, the weapon spinning right now. Sack is comfortably on, I believe that's 7 factories right now. Only 2 have the machine shop attachment. So Sack once again needs to get that 3rd gas up. He wants to get that 3rd attachment on his shop. He does finally have some vultures now on the map. He's going to try to do some poking. I wonder if Sack knows about the expansion in the top right. I don't think he does.
This is typically what Protoss players do when they get towards their max out. Well, the Vulture does see it anyway. But when you're near maxing out, most of your economy is just going to be about expanding as fast as possible and as much as possible. Wow! Just barely dodges those mines, and so Movie can get away with taking these extra expansions, and any extra Nexus is going to help, especially since he did lose all those probes. But right now, he does have an army that can engage Sacks, and is he going to be able to take a really nice engagement here and push Sack back into his base, forcing more turtling?
Right. The thing I'm surprised though to see is that it looks like Sack is doing once again more Vulture run-bys in the 3rd, but Movie's not doing anything to counteract against it. Like, Movie has yet to put any defenses up there. So once again, all these probes are going to die here. And, ooh, carriers! Are we going to see carriers this game? That is a fleet beacon right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. That would be a pretty interesting tech switch. I wonder if they're going to show us what the vision is for Sack, because I'd really like to know if he's scanned in that location recently. Right. Generally, like, when you see this first-person view that they're showing, and you're watching someone like Flash, they always catch him right when he does, like, some Gosu scan and reveals the build that the Protoss player is going for.
Right. Thank you, Blindbar, for that statistic right there. Stack has a 4-8 record against Movie. And here comes the... Oh, nice stasis coming in from Movie here.
A nice stasis on the high ground tanks, and it looks like he's going to get a good surround here with the Zealots, killing everything off so quickly. +1 tanks are trying to hold position here, and we have +1 upgraded gateway units too. So pretty even on the upgrade count.
Right, and the reason that Sack lost that engagement, he had no vultures to buffer for his tanks there. And all the
Right.
tanks were basically trying to push out without any vulture buffer, which was basically easy picking for the Zealots and for the Arbiter to come in. Stasis on the tanks and allow the Zealots to surround. And once again, Sokka's going to try and reinforce here. He's going to have a better positioning here, but having those extra 12 tanks would definitely have helped better in this scenario.
Yeah, he's kind of in a pressured situation too, because losing 4 more tanks here is actually a pretty good dent into his army. So he wanted to do his best to maximize their damage.
Right.
That's why he was able to put those back tanks in such a good position. They only picked off a few gateway units before
Right.
they ended up dying, though.
Right, but the thing though is Sok should be worried about the fact that Movie has yet to reinforce his ground army here. Generally speaking, when you do that kind of favorable engagement in the Protoss, you want to continually be engaging. Especially if you're not being the Arbiter tank flank, because you can easily remax quickly. And we haven't...
Right, and if Movie was able to keep up with his gateway macro, I don't see Sak being able to take this bottom base at the 6 o'clock position.
Right.
But because he doesn't have the army to keep that 4th base in check, he really has to let it go until these carriers do come out.
Oh, the carrier gets scouted now. Oh, Sok's going to have to force a pull back here. Movie's not able to mine from the 3rd ever, but it's just quite interesting to watch. So Sak has that 4th established now. The question is, can he hold it against the carriers long enough? And once again, the Vulture's doing a lot more damage than I thought they would at the 3rd, man.
Wow. It massively turning up. Okay, the Vultures do end up running away before the Nexus goes down, but it's really not a big deal if he doesn't mine from that 3rd. It's just like his mineral mining location.
Oh, huge
Oh,
recall
and a
coming into
recall
natural here.
inside of the natural base.
Huge recall coming into natural here. Carriers are going to be late to intercept here, but that's doing a lot of damage. Some reinforcement can Shock should be able to clean this up, but this is disruption to the mining is quite critical here.
I can't believe this. We're looking at the SSL winner of last season, and he might actually go down 0-1 in this in his group.
Oh, another Arbiter coming in right now. There's nothing to recall, unfortunately. It's only Zealots, so it shouldn't be quite easy.
Oh! How did he get that?
Oh my goodness.
Zealots in the main base, and that's just the worst. He can go after those factory production facilities and just keep that Goliath count low.
Oh my goodness. Sak should be able to clean up here, but I'm worried if he's going to lose his 4th here. What Sak should do is actually expand to the 6 o'clock location right now and just play for that very late game right now. Because Movie has already committed to this Protoss, to the tech switch to the carriers. So Sak can still continue to produce the Goliaths and Vultures, but he needs to do something about this carrier count sooner or later. And Movie is doing the correct gameplay right now, because the thing that Movie needs at the moment is minerals. Gas isn't really that much of an importance for Movie. Movie needs minerals to continually build interceptors and basically throw away Zealots. So
yeah, I definitely agree, and the only way for Sak to prevent the mineral income is to just continually use those Vultures around the map and try and pick off probes, but Movie's done a really good job of defending his other expansions besides that 3rd.
Right. Well, I'm afraid that Movie doesn't have anything to defend against his small push coming in from Sak to the top right here. It's only 2 gateways into June here, so this should be cleaned up.
Right, and Movie's playing really smart. He knows that he may lose that base at the top right, but he's going to go ahead and take out the base at the 9 o'clock position, and that's going to be much more hurtful for Sak.
Right. So I am quite worried, though. Oh, that is a lot. That High Templar count right there.
Wow, that Gateway army is going to look very strong, switching into the High Templar tech. And there's actually a really low tank count. And the tanks that are available are in bad positions. What? He's actually morphing them into Archons. Is this Bisu PvT?
No, but it's just you need to know about morphing them into the Archons that they'll still be able to survive the tank fire. Say the tank splash fire, but they still will be be able to tank.
Right. You know what they can do? They could also hover over all those spider mines.
That is also true.
Well, one of the cool concepts for Brood War units is the fact that they have the hover units, which can't be targeted by mines.
Right. Wow, all these SCVs are melting right here. And we still have carries attacking Sock's natural, right? Meanwhile, Movie's losing to top right, but I think this is kind of inconsequential since Movie has the top left base established. I mean,
Man, I feel like those Archons were not effective.
no, they were effective though because they drew the Goliaths and all of Sock's army away from his natural.
Right.
The Archon is not the problem. It's that carrier count that the problem was again. And Sock is actually going to make the decision to go for the base trade. Last-ditch call coming in from Sock here. The tank count is absurdly high right now.
Wow.
Can Sock even win this?
I still don't think so because his carrier count is so high right now, and the fact is, once the production facilities are cut off for SAC, those factories are going to go down soon enough. He won't be able to bring, get another army. So this is what he has. He's stuck with what he has left, and I don't think that's enough Goliaths.
No, definitely not enough Goliath. Definitely not the upgrade ready for it. It's only 2-1 for Sock here. If Sock had 3-3 Goliaths, then we might be able to make a case for this, but I think that carrier count is simply way too high.
Right. This is looking monstrous, and maybe he's going to try and go for the Terran army now and just eliminate this threat. And another push out with Zealots, and Archons are actually getting stuck on the ramp here. They are a little bit too beefy. Can't get down there very easily.
Oh my goodness, that tank count is absurd.
Wow. And he can just, he could go straight up into this fight, the interceptors. Wow, so many.
You know, I am quite surprised that Movie didn't decide to go for the production facility. So he does kill off his army, but I mean, Sock is still reinforcing. Might be able to make a comeback here. If
he wasted a lot of time trying to kill off that command center at the natural, too.
That carrier fleet! I just can't stop laughing at that.
Wow.
That is just crazy, that carrier fleet count. Absolutely absurd. And I think
it looks like Sachs just in a lot of trouble here. I don't know if there's a way to even theory craft that he could get out of this. You know, this is just a really tough situation here. He wasn't able to take that 9 o'clock base, and I think that was one of the key issues to why he's going to lose this.
I wouldn't say that he didn't take the 9 o'clock base. It's just that his vultures weren't really that effective. Like Sock was trying to use them at the wrong time for the wrong reason.
Right.
If Sock had definitely had that first BS tanks thing live, he would have definitely had a stronger map presence, even forced Movie to reconsider making that carrier switch. The only reason you make a carrier switch is either A, you're going for a very fast carrier build, or B, you already have the supreme map control and you just basically want to do it like a win more button. The carriers are going to be your win more button. So.
And Movie just capitalizing on this monster lead that he does have.
Wait. Movie lost his top left expansion? How?
Oh, there was a small army of tanks and vultures that pushed in there. He only had like 3 cannons, so he really couldn't defend.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I mean, this is what's left for Movie too, is that expansion at the 3 o'clock position for his minerals. But I just don't see that the Goliath forces are going to be big enough. He would have to focus down the carriers themselves at this point. And you know what would help is if he had
one carrier down.
If he could EMP the carriers and get their shields down, that would be one way to kind of help that out. And this is going to be huge. Those Archons coming in there and doing a ton of damage. And he hasn't dealt with the tank threat either. He's losing workers. Movie's losing workers at his 3 o'clock position.
This late night casting not the best for us. And I'm so surprised Sock is still able to hold on. The last ditch effort coming in from Sock here. I mean, there's a tank in Movie's 3 o'clock. 3 tanks, actually. So neither player has actually have any income at the moment right now.
Wow.
So actually, this game just got closer because, see, what could happen here is that Sock could kill off Movie's entire income, right? We don't know exactly how much income, how much minerals Movie has saved up. But those interceptors cannot be rebuilt. So if Sock can perpetually get some form of mining going on, he actually might be able to outlast Movie in this case.
Yeah, that's a big if though. He might even lose this command center right here, so it does go down. And so without that command center, he just can't even bring in minerals.
Yeah,
he doesn't have any any bases.
Right, but there's no way that Movie can even make a new Nexus. So Movie has no mining either.
Oh my god.
He's making High Templar, but those High Templars are not going to have Storm. I mean,
and he's losing them immediately too. So I need to deal with these vultures first.
Right, but the problem is that Sock needs to somehow drain Movie of its interceptor count. And we can see, Movie only has 14 minerals right now. So he cannot build any more interceptors.
Oh my god, and guess what? I don't see... Okay, there is an observer
Movie
on the map.
might actually lose this game.
If he loses that observer, then a single Wraith...
No, not even a single Wraith. So Sock literally needs to trade interceptors for carriers. Trade interceptors for his Goliaths.
Right.
Because Movie cannot reinforce. And Sock has 2-1 on his Goliaths. Sock is actually going to win this game, I think.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What a comeback here if this is possible.
Movie through this game.
Wow.
He can't reinforce.
He
just
didn't take care of his bases at all. Remember how we were talking about if he took out the factories that he could have
See, look at this. He has no interceptors.
All production.
He has no interceptors. Okay, he has two carriers. That's going to be like what, 6 interceptors at most?
Right.
Sock still has like 7 or 8 Goliaths left, and he still has a command center.
Oh man, Movie looks stressed.
This is a crazy game. I can't believe this.
This is definitely a 5-star game, guys. Can you believe it? We're looking at the SSL 10 winner. This is why he's the champion.
See, Movie's lost 3 more interceptors. He only has 5 interceptors at most. And they're going to get one-shotted by Goliath.
Oh my goodness.
Movie has 8 carriers. He can't use them.
But look at the 3 o'clock base. Is there an expansion over there?
No, that's just the tanks. I think those are the tanks.
They're just clumped up so close it looks like a building.
No, those are mines.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But
gotcha.
what can Movie do here? He has 0 units. He has 8 tanks, 8 carriers, 14 minerals, and like 5 interceptors. Sock is like 8 Goliaths. Sock wins this.
Imagine if
Sock
he
wins
had gone back to help his High Templar become Archons. He could have even had that to help out with him too. Oh, GG. What did we watch, XKCD?
I have no idea what we want. That was hilarious and awesome.
How did he turn into a loss so quickly? That was incredible. Wow.
I can't even explain this.
Wow. Game of Throws. That's what we just saw, fellas.
Oh my goodness.
That was...
If you try to analyze it, the best explanation you can come up with is just like you said, Movie through the game.
Right.
Oh.
Wow. He was doing so well. He had like twice as many bases. Man, you know what? And if he had just kept up with producing more like speed lots to help manage with the vulture count at all those additional locations, maybe just dumped into a few more cannons to defend. Anything. He had a lot of different opportunities to defend his expansions and failed on all cases. You know, he lost most of his gateway army doing those recalls too, and like that zealot recall inside of the main base. How much did it really get done? It didn't take out any factories. Sack managed that second recall really well. So while we thought, man, those are some game-ending recalls, in fact, he just threw away his supporting ground army and was only stuck with carriers.
Right. And one of the things about having carriers on an open map like that is that you need to already have enough map control so that your carriers doesn't have to go defend your bases. And Sock did there. He did a split, like a 3-prong attack to Movie's defenses, while barely using just the bare minimum at his home and his natural, right? So Movie had the 2 recalls there. He had the carriers hitting on Sock's fort. Sock would trade that fort because he knows if he can take out Movie's 4th, 5th, and 3rd, and 6th, Movie has nothing. And since Movie's already committed full time to carrier switch with a 3 Stargate production, what we actually saw there was that Movie's decision making basically failed him in the end because he had no supporting cast. I mean, you could also say that Movie should have kept those Archons that he made. He made like what, 10 Archons there?
Yep.
And he pushed those Archons in, but they didn't push them at the same time that he pushed the carriers in. If they were attacking together, I think Movie might have been able to clean up that game there.
Yep.
But once again, like, if you're going to go for carriers on such an open map like that, you need to either have established map control already, or B, establish a way to easily defend your own bases from Terran counterattacks. That is one of the best ways for Terran to deal with carriers, just like Sock demonstrated. Cut off the Protoss user income.
Yeah, and he did a really good job of that.
Right.
Man, how does a Terran player stay so calm in that situation where you see so many carriers out and you're so far behind on the mark of dealing with those carriers? He didn't even scout it. And that's just the scariest position to be in as a Terran player.
Right. I mean, I don't know what I can say. What else I can say there?
Yeah, that'll do it.
That will do it.
That'll do it.
I mean, the thing you're saying about having that calm under mentality, like, Sokka is an SSL winner. Like, that just goes to show he has that game-winning mentality. Calm under pressure, calm under fire. And he is also a former Kesper player, too, so for him, this is basically nothing really that new to him.
I gotta say, though, that was near Flash level play, the way he managed that situation in the late game. Obviously, he made a few mistakes earlier on, but he is looking like really, truly the most brilliant Terran player on the scene right now.
Well, I wouldn't say Flash level play because Flash would never let himself get into such a position where he's recklessly throwing away vultures for nothing. But you are right about the fact that the way that Sock managed to come back in the game was quite superb play.
Right.
Because
I always think of one game, and while it's a TVZ, the Flash versus Action game, the really famous one where Action just non-stop just beat on the front door of Flash, and somehow after the map it got entirely mined out. He was able to win off like 2-base turtling. And it was the best display of defensive Terran play I've ever seen.
Well, we also won another good game. Watch Flash versus Zero. I forgot which map it was. I think it was like Polaris Rapidity or something like that. So for those of you who are watching the stream right now, we are seeing a Korean fashion show, and we need adults here because once again, after watching this commercial like 10 or 20 times, I still have no idea what's happening. I mean, I was talking with Sale about it, and we said that having those 2 male models there is the wrong way to approach this fashion show.
Right. I do enjoy the show, though. Well, guys, we've got 3 more games left, so if anything's like game number 1 for the next 3, I feel like we've already had a treat just to watch that first game.
That is true.
But a ZVZ next, and you know, some people like ZVZ, some people don't. It's one of those matchups that it's really hard to hype up, and you kind of cross your fingers that you're going to get something a little bit more exciting than 9-pull speed from both players and to Ling GGs, you know.
Well, I've always been of the opinion that if you don't like the matchup, probably because you don't understand the matchup enough.
Right.
So, like, for me as a 3rd player, I'm always quite hyped about watching 2 top-class players like Killer and Zero play ZVZ. Because both of them have very different approaches to the ZVZ game itself. For example, Zero prefers making it to the middle game, where he gets muted, whereas Killer is more than welcome to end the game with just links. So
right.
So it'll be quite interesting what builds both players opt to pick. And especially if you look at Killer's games in the round of 24, it is way different from what we've been expecting, or at least been talking about, like his slump. Like, I think Killer is actually back, and this would be the perfect game to display that.
Right. And that's pretty interesting because Killer at one point was like what Zeke was with link control and ZVZ. It really seemed like Killer was passed down Jadon's skill in ZVZ. But, you know, 2013, 2014, well, maybe early 2014, but really 2013 was where he was shining with his Zerg versus Zerg play.
Right. We got more commercials coming up here for you guys.
Right, and if it's a telling stat, overall in his Sospa era, ZVZ, he has a 76% win rate.
What happened when you take Quandro games out of those?
Right. So add three more wins to that, his percentage just looks even more beastly. So Killer, he definitely has that ZVZ record in tournaments here. Hard to talk during this Splash commercial. Okay, but then you look at Zero. He's only got 36 games total, but still a 50% win rate in ZVZ. He's never been a player known for his Zerg versus Zerg. He's just kind of managed to be good enough to not make it a major concern in his tournament play.
Right. Well, that's just come back to like the Wujing Stars days. Like, their Zerg Killer was basically light in Pro League, right?
Right.
Or it was basically some other Terrans, or even free. So basically all Zero had to do was just focus on versus Terran and versus Protoss, which is why he has better win rates in those matchups.
Yep.
We are having a little bit of buffering here, ladies and gentlemen, but the stream should fix itself. There it is. Nope.
Yeah, let's make sure we're synced up here. Do you see the sneaker on the screen with water coming under it?
Yep.
Okay.
Now I see the recap happening right now.
All right, I think I'm like 2 seconds behind, so I'm gonna refresh my stream here at the risk of.
So here's the issue with. So this is where I was making the small comment about having scan versus having engineering bay first. So if you don't know what your opponent is doing, generally having scan is the safer option, but you just have to be careful about these kind of drops. But if you do know that, for example, Sock's got the robotic facility and he scouted the Robo Bay, so it definitely was not a DG drop, so it would have been safe for him to go engineering bay here. And this was the push that Bluey should have capitalized on. He gets the kill here, however, he doesn't make anything happen after it, because they're already trying to commit to his carriers.
Right, did you just see the recall there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We're on the same spot here. Kind of interesting to watch this game, you know, so fresh in our minds here. I really do like, sometimes I really like being able to see these replays, especially the longer games.
Right, me too as well.
So he takes down this third with the carriers. Oh, we're jumping forward here. And this is the point where these upgraded Goliaths, like you were talking about in the cast, are just way too strong, and the interceptors are going to die really quickly. Okay, so Mr. Zerg, we're gonna see the ZVZ played on Neo Jade, and do you have any thoughts on what build order you would go for Neo Jade? It's kind of a smaller map. It's not quite like Circuit Breaker.
For me, we have to notice that because it is an inverse map, it's better for you to get that natural expansion up, because trying to defend your main against an inverse map is way harder than trying to do it like on a generic map, let's say Fighting Spirit or Circuit Breaker, where the ramp is normal.
Right. Do you ever find yourself in that situation where you see the arch of lings on the top of the ramp if you do stay on one base, and so the other opponent who goes link heavy can just prevent you from leaving your base?
Right. That is very annoying. And it allows the opponent to drone up as well.
Right.
So, I got one more Skype chat to mute. You do not need to see the generic coverage chat. That is secret stuff happening at the moment.
Cross-gaming coverage.
Cross-gaming coverage, of course, as always.
That sounds like a pretty cool company name, too.
Yeah, be supportive of Team Liquid coverage as well. And what they're covering, how to the Heroes of the Storm, all that stuff.
Yep, and while we're speaking of Team Liquid coverage, so Preach actually wrote the Group B predictions too, and we have Last, Olympus, Killer, and Zero, and I think this is kind of an interesting group with a slumping Killer. Olympus may have an opportunity to not be last in this group. Don't think he could advance over Last and Zero. But I think Last and Zero definitely do look like the dominant favorites in Group B.
Right. I'm still of the opinion that Olympus progression so far in this current Nebula Star League is a fluke. I'm still of that opinion because the only game that Olympus is won basically off of micro-oriented or cheesy play.
Right.
So anytime that Olympus couldn't gain an advantage with using either tactic in his game, he loses.
I'm about as confident in Olympus as I am in Gwinchi / G Shizzle / G Dog.
Why would you have no confidence in him? That's like the #1 player in the world. This is not. This is no argument. You either G Shizzle fanboy or you gotta stop casting. Pick one.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I take back everything. Go G Shizzle. I can't even say it. Shizzle. I'm too white. It's 1 in the morning.
1 in the morning. Oh yeah, that is true. It is the worst time for everybody here.
Oh man, I'm getting old, guys. So who do we got here? Is that Zero at the top right?
I am looking up the names right now.
Yeah, it looks like Zero is going to be at the bottom left. He is at the 7 o'clock position. And Killer is going to be at the top right, which is going to be what color? Yellow?
Yellow. Killer is yellow and Zero is red.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, now we're seeing the Overlords are both going towards that top left position. Scouting always works itself out in ZVZ, I feel like.
Right. So what's interesting to note here is that Zero is going for the reverse scout, while Killer is going for the default scouting pattern here. So this is either indicative of Killer going for something like a Zero going something like a 12 hatch, and we're probably going to see here. So and Killer's going for the overpool here, or it could be
right.
So this is a safer build coming out from Killer. So he still is pretty strong here, but he won't be able to directly challenge this 12 hatch that Zero's coming.
Yeah, this is exactly what you were talking about. Take advantage of that hatchery at the top of the ramp, and this is cross spawn positioning, so this could work out good for him. Now the extractor that could be going for the layer tech, but really I would like to see Killer go for speed first.
And I think Killer's going to go for speed because he still has yet to decide what Zero's going to do. However, Killer does get an expansion of his own, so we have a gentleman's agreement coming out from both players where we will both play for 2-base gaming. However, because of this, and Zero still will have the slight economic advantage because he went hatchery first, and then spawn, and then hatch. Then
yeah, 12 hatch is actually putting him in the better position here because Killer can't get aggressive while he's waiting for that additional hatchery to get done.
Right, and you see what's interesting here to note is that because either player had yet to receive an Overlord with their own Overlords as well, you see this interesting scouting pattern coming in where Zero and Killer are cutting across the middle of the map. And they're going to meet each other. They both know it's cross spawn.
Right.
So the question becomes what will Killer do? Killer has I think 6 Zerglings on the field right now. But he's only going to send 1 to scout because he doesn't know if Zero's committing to, let's say, a 9-pull speed at the moment, or if Zero's doing like what he's doing right now, the 12 hatch play.
Yeah, this is kind of that position where, as a Zerg player, you're crossing your fingers and saying, "I really hope my build order pays off."
Right. So we are going to see. So both players now scout each other out. Zero has yet to scout out Killer, but given the fact that it's still slow links right now, Zero should know that Killer went for like an expansion or fast layer.
Right. Okay, so a nice wall here for Zero. It looks like Killer's Lings aren't going to be able to get inside. They're just going to be continuing to poke at the front, and I don't see Killer ever having that larger Ling count to.
I would prefer Zero to have a little bit bigger of a concave. But
Right.
Nice zergling snipe there by Zero there. He's breaking up the line to get that snare snipe. I'm quite surprised that Killer didn't react there because Zero's lanes were pumped up. So Killer could actually run through the surround himself and win that engagement. So lanes being kicked in for both players now. Killer's actually forced to make a sunken off of this. He's now going to be on the defensive back end. And Zero's able to freely drone up.
Right, and so now he's gonna have to sit back with the sunken, and sometimes the best thing you can do is
No.
window, send a couple of lings down the ramp.
Right. I was afraid that Zero's going to run his flanks into Killer's main base. See,
Yeah,
this is one of the issues.
That's actually bad if you ran all of them down that ramp, because Killer could send like 3 or 4 lings across the map and start picking up drones, because there's nothing to defend at Zero's base.
Right. We see that the second gas coming out for Killer there. No second gas coming out for Hero. This is interesting. I'm wondering if he's going to get that now, or he just want to still take advantage of the droning on the minerals. So it looks like now, because Zero actually got the extra drones from having the map control, Killer's now going to start pushing out with it. He's going to try to force Zero to make lings, or to waste his larva on non-mutilous unit. Slight engagement here coming in the middle of the map outside of Killer Zero's natural. Nothing really happened, though. And once again,
it looks like both players are just going to be bouncing back and forth, no true engagement yet. And that's a good point that you're talking about, is the fact that he really wants that larva to be inefficient and not be being pumped into mutas. The higher the count for Zero, the more likely he could win this game.
We got a Zergling in Zero's main base. We'll be able to get a Killer. Oh, Big Kidney coming in for Killer's natural right now. There are 2 mutas out on the field here. Killer's still able to defend his natural, and that's fucking doing a lot of damage here.
Oh, wow.
Whoa, Zero does get 2 Zerglings inside of Killer's main base. Only 1 Zergling survives, though. They should be able to be killed up by the drones quite quickly. Killer. There you go. Yep. Nice job, Killer.
Yeah, he doesn't lose a single drone.
Beautiful hold by Killer. Bad engagement by Zero. They're trying to push into a sunken and mutilus popping at the same time. Zero should have backed off immediately and just wait for his own mutilus to come out.
Zero looks pretty pissed, and he actually has some overlords that are in a really precarious position right now. So these mutas might be able to pick off the extra overlords and maybe supply block Zero. But no, they're not engaging across the map yet. This muta count's got to get a lot higher, though. That late second gases could be very hurtful at this point.
Right. You know what time it is, BisuDagger?
What's that?
My favorite time. Muta dancing.
Muta dancing.
Time to do the tango.
Yeah.
See,
it's sexier than the Splash commercial.
Right. See, this is what we were talking about with the gas timing. Killer's able to now afford extra scourges, where Zero's has to conserve his larva for the mutilus. He can't produce mutilus and scourge at the same time. He's going to be gas starved.
Yeah, this is looking rough. I feel like that ling engagement was not pulled off very well for Zero.
Right.
And he actually had a glimpse of not looking confident in the booth. So already we're seeing that defeatist mindset set in for him.
Arnold was defeated though, but I'm quite surprised to see Killer played his still pretty defensively, pretty passively. Like I would like to see him force the engagements at Zero's base.
Oh man, that Overlord, it was a nice little pickoff there. So doing what he can to kind of get himself back into even footing.
Right. I mean, both players are dancing around the map right now, trying to see if they can't force a favorable good engagement. Do note that because both players have Scourges, it's basically going to come down to which Zerg player is able to land off more Scourge hits.
Right. So here's the question: is how long do you continue to pump into your army before you start thinking about this game may go?
Oh, hold that thought. We got 2 Zergs coming to the main base of Killer here.
Are they going to get anything?
Oh, one drone might be it. No, Zero, please. Okay, here comes first big engagement coming out of Zero's natural. Scourge is coming in. Oh my goodness, all those hits. Crazy.
Wow.
Both Mutaflocks trying to dance right now. Looks like Killer's on the advantage here. He has the higher mutilus count, so that Scourge does hit. Who's gonna win this? I don't know. You tell me, BisuDagger.
Oh, it's looking tough, but Zero might be able to hold in here. There's reinforcements coming from his larva, and so it looks like
oh my goodness,
lower on that mutilus count.
How did Killer lose an engagement?
Away from the base here.
How did Killer lose that engagement?
Oh my god, the Scourge are coming in here, though, and that would be very helpful. No, it looks like Zero's going to win out. And you know what? He was the only one doing the heavy micro during that battle.
Right. I think Killer's too busy trying to focus fire with the Scourges right there, while not being able to mute a micro at the same time. So now the game has actually become even. Killer lost an advantage that he had with the favorable link engagement, and Zero managed to swing it back. The question now becomes, what are both players going to do?
Right.
I would like to see weapons upgrade come in, like for example, +1 air attack or +1 carapace, or even better, someone go for a Queen's Nest and try to get ensnare.
Ooh,
another engagement coming in now.
Coming in here real quick, and they're going to be chasing down this Mutalisk, but wow, Zero's really good with his air army, and he's going to be able to combat that back, but more Scorch are coming in. This is relentless. It looks like Killer's trying to get that easy kamikaze style win.
Oh, and, I think Zero lost a Mutalisk right there. This is not good.
Oh my god, but he's doing some really good Mutalisk splitting to try and divert the attention of the Scorch.
Oh, Zero's forced to pull off drones here, but the thing though is that Killer only has one Mutalisk right now. And he gets 2 more Zerglings inside of Killer's main base. He might be able to do more damage than he thought he could.
Oh my goodness. This is such an intense game from both these players. They are trying so hard to take this game 1 in their group.
My goodness. This is going to see a delayed game here.
There's no breathing room to get an upgrade, XKCD. These guys are just... it's like
you have to get an upgrade.
Each other's necks.
No.
Possible.
You have to get an upgrade here. Otherwise, you're just going to have these stalemates forever and ever. Killer's just making a lot of Scourges here because right now he's not confident in his Mutalisk micro.
Oh my god. He's actually doing a really good job dodging once again. Oh, he's getting so close. How is he keeping these Mutalisks alive? This is looking quite insane. I think Killer's putting himself behind with all these Scourge losses.
Right. But however, he's able to get
the Lings at the natural base. The Lings are actually taking out drones again, preventing gas mining. And so as long as the gas econ can stay above for Killer, then he stays ahead. How?
Whoa. Here's the thing, though. I mean, at this point, Killer has yet to do anything that leads me to think that he's actually ahead in this game. Like, he wasted, like, how many larvae on Scourges? Like, 10, 12 larvae? I mean, he only has 4 Mutalisks right now, and his own drone count isn't that high either. Look at Zero's Mutalisk count. It looks like to be 8, 9 Mutalisks in that group right there, and he still has a couple Zerglings on the field. So this is a bad idea to send those in right now. You should have waited for the Mutalisk to attack. However, I mean,
wow.
But here's the thing, though, like
Zero, he may have had a slight window if he rushed those Mutalisks over to the natural base. And Killer, he's got to be thinking, how can I stay defensive right now? I am behind in my Mutalisks. But he's not going to spore up, and it looks like Lings are going to run into the main base. If you watch on the minimap here, and this could be game-ending.
Oh, no, look at all those in the main base.
Wow. So the Mutas are fighting inside of in the natural, and the Lings are inside of the main. Oh, Killer's gonna have to tap out.
GG.
What a game, XKCD.
You know, I think what we were saying, watching Zero, like his face cam, that was actually his death stare. I think Zero, after all these years, finally developed a scary death stare.
Oh man,
that mindless, soulless look.
A death stare or seasick, I don't know, but that was insane. It's got to be the Harry Potter glasses. He won that one for Hogwarts.
That might be true.
That was one of the most exciting ZVZs I've watched in a long time.
Right, and I think that it has to go then, like, as a Zerg player, if you notice your opponent just mass producing Scourges, it means 2 things. A, your opponent's not confident in their Mutalisk micro because he's making Scourges in the hope that you can't out micro the mass amounts of it. Or B, there's some like kind of sneaky Zergling attack, which Killer did try to attempt both in that game, but it just ultimately comes down to not keeping his own Mutalisk count high enough. Like, it's okay to, like, try to make bad engagement as long as you know when to disengage. And Killer wasn't disengaging from bad Mutalist engagement at all. Like, if you notice, like, he was losing engagement, he should have backed up, wait for his Mutalist to spawn, and then just try to get at a later time where he can regather his forces.
Yeah, some of the Mutalist play from Killer did seem very uninspired. And when you mentioned, like, yeah, oh man, he's building all those Scourge, he really doesn't believe in his micro. I was thinking, you're right. This is a guy who feels like the only way he can win this game is with a bunch of lucky Scourge hits, which you don't see from a better Zerg player. They will always opt for those mutas.
That is true. I mean, we've seen it like in Jaedong. Back in the Jaedong era, like, you would barely see Jaedong with mass Scourge flocks. You would always see him prefer to go for the Mutalist. Because he knows he can out-micro his opponents. So might as well use the better unit in these air battles. Because the longer the Mutalist is alive, the more scary it is against X amount of Scourges.
Yep.
But the amount of... I mean, that just goes to show. Killer, like, both players have definitely prepared a lot for that game, but I think Gerald is putting more preparation with his Mutalist micro. Like, playing the UMS maps way more than what Killer did. Which is interesting to say because...
That's completely important. It's one of those skills where it's like, you can play your straight-up macro games and ladder as much as possible, but you gotta get on the UMS maps and, like, keep that skill up and continue to train it. Because this ZVZ matchup doesn't go away.
Right. And the thing to notice that, like, what we've been seeing over the last couple of months is that the ZVZ matchups have been getting better and better. So I only hope and wish that we'll continue to see even more and more and, like, better and higher skill of micro. Like, that is not the best micro I've ever seen, but that is definitely some good micro that Zero showed there.
Oh, it was a huge step up from his KSL run even. So I feel like he's really transformed in the past 4 or 5 months, his skill level. And that's a repetitive thing that we've talked about too, is that the skill level of these players is only going to grow as more players retire from StarCraft 2 or more amateurs can step up their game like you know, Mong and Larva getting better and better. And that's really the only way that these veteran players can grow.
Right. But, and that's one of the issues we have right now with the Brood War scene, is that all the top players are former Kestrel players. We need new talent, like new fresh blood. So there's going to be a very interesting thing to see as we grow the Brood War scene, both in foreign eras and in domestic.
Right.
And but both in Korea and outside of Korea, like, how are we going to recruit new talent to keep the game alive?
Well, who's the best non-Kespa player? Was CKH a Kespa player too?
I think he was a trainee. Right.
So if he was a trainee, then I guess he still has some level of housing experience. You know who was good? Beast, the Zerg player Beast. Now, he didn't have any training, and he was doing really well a couple years back. But that's before the scene kind of imploded with these veteran players. I'm not sure who else really can step up to the ring and put up a good fight. I'm actually gonna go take a look at the ELO here and see how far down it takes for us to see anybody new on the map. Now, High. How about High? The one with, like, the smiley face. I don't think he played on a team before, and he's a pretty solid Protoss player. Ample, someone who stepped up to the scene. Who's
Ample was a KT trainer, so.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, he was Kespo.
Right.
It's just that Ample is one of those players that just never got the chance to be in the spotlight.
Had he gotten the chance, though, he would have been a really good Terran player.
That is true.
So we have Kola.
But I think, like, the problem, though, is, like, when you have Flash on your team, it's very hard as a Terran player, you know, to differentiate yourself.
Right.
And that was one of the issues that KT had with that. Other than Flash, we really didn't have a strong Terran lineup.
Yeah, KT just never trained additional Terrans, and eventually they adopted Sky High from one of the teams.
GJ Entis.
Oh, Entis, yeah. Sorry. So they picked him up, And that was it. And he didn't even get to play that much, just like a couple games here or there.
Right.
All right, well, I'm going to go get a drink. I'll be right back.
I'm going to go rest my voice because I'm feeling that my voice is being lost again. Not good.
Oh, yeah? Well, guys, we're going to take a minute break. We'll be back.
Yeah, will do.
물에도 당당하게. 이것이 스페너 스타일. 스타일에서 앞선다. 스페너 스플래시.
Yeah. Oh. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I am back. What's up, dude? Alright, I am back. BisuDagger, are you back there?
네, 잠시도
Hello, everybody.
적극적이었습니다.
네, 저만 저번에 줄 세우기부터
I'm pouring myself a delicious Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew? College life again?
It's college life, my second Mountain Dew.
Man, you should do what I do and just get water.
Nah, I've had water. I need Dew, man.
No, you got to try different flavors of water. You know, you got your mineral water, you got your salt water, and then you got your well water. You know, you gotta mix it up, man.
Yeah, I don't like when my water's not well.
Really, I'm more of the mineral kind of guy. Mineral.
Not that
Don't
best
forget,
water.
you got water tonic. Let's not forget that. And you got the carbonated water, of course.
I like water tonic when you hold the water. All tonic.
There you go.
물론 그중에 언제나 100% 만족스럽게 컨트롤할 수는 없지만 상대가 상대니까. 적은 좀
So, we got 2 more games to be played, guys. Group B, or Group C, Group D, which is going to be Mong Hyuk and then Bisu versus Larva. So we get to see a TVZ today, and I like that we're seeing all the different matchups. It's just absolutely fun. And Mong versus Hyuk could be just a really devastating game for Hyuk. And I don't know if he's quite the level of Mong, who is an awesome Terran player. He finished top 4 in the SSL last season, and has looked quite good for a year or 2 now.
저그전을 가장 잘하는 테란 중에 한 명입니다.
사실 시드자들 중에서는
Now his TVZ record is actually his best record here. He has a 61% win rate versus Zerg, and so he couldn't be any luckier to start off this series with with any other matchup than a TVZ, especially against a Zerg player who hasn't performed at a high level since the Kespa era.
Right. You know what's interesting is that generally speaking, if this was a Kespa era, I would start making a rant about how SKT Zerg suck. But since there's no more SKT Zerg joke to make, I can now say I'm allowed to root for Hyuk and say like I would be happy if he wins.
Right. Well, here's the deal. You know, the SKT Zergs failed in Pro League, but they actually got some pretty consistent results in OSLs. In the past couple OSLs, like Su had some really high results, and Hyuk would actually continually make the round of 8 in both the MSL and the OSL. So he actually isn't that terrible of a player when you think that, oh, he's a top 8 individual player. How does he consistently do this? Right. But then he meets like the true competition by the time he gets down to those top 8 players, and you see him just get torn apart.
Right. And Mong's also one of those players that probably had a great career if it wasn't for his silly his mistake he made in his first game.
Right.
Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
We're going to see a new map here. We haven't really seen this one get played out. What is this? La
Mancha, my favorite map. After match point, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have Mong be the yellow Terran on the bottom left, and we're going to have Hyuk be the red Zerg on the bottom right. So what's interesting about La Mancha is that if you watch the KSL games, Zero ZVT games are a fantastic example of how to play La Mancha.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic textbook example. Ava, we got about 2 more matches tonight, so we're halfway there. And
now here's the deal, though. When you're not Zero, this map is actually pretty difficult.
Right.
With really good tank positioning, the Terran player can expand pretty nicely on this map.
It's also very hard for Zerg to break out of contains.
Right.
All contains are basically going to force you to break out a choke point. So very precise defiler control is going to be necessary here. And also fighting, you don't have to fight way harder than normal for your map control. Like if you're either player, you just can't just give it up in the hope that you can take it back with a flank or something. Due to the various pathways and choke points that this map has. So this will be quite a treat to see what both players' game plan is going to be.
Yeah, so speaking of what are they going to do, what do you think Mong should go with on this map? I know that tank presence can be really strong, but he could go for more of a biomech style play, which I think might work in this game.
For me, Mong has been a player who always stick to the same play style. For TVZ, it's always been bio into the mech switch.
Mm-hmm.
That's the play style that fits him the most. For Hyuk, it's probably going to be, once again, that late game. To see how his late game is against late game mech switch. Like, can he control his Hydras correctly? Can he control his Defilers correctly? Can he make sure his army composition is correct? There'll be all these various factors that Hyuk will have to take into account here. So what's actually interesting is that, let's just skip all that. Hyuk's going to go for a 2-hatch pool play. I think it's going to be a 2-hatch meterless play here.
Yeah.
This is very reminiscent of his Brood War, his Kespa days, where Hyuk was one of the players that were a fan of going 2-hatch meterless. He was very favoring the aggressive play style. So it'll be quite interesting to see if Mong's to go for the standard 2 Barracks Academy build, or he's going to go for something else.
Right, and this is actually a pretty decent position for Mutalist play. It's close spawn, and the fact that it's the closest distance to close in on the main base from where he spawned in relation to Mong's main. So that's going to be really good for his mutas getting across the map.
Right. So we got Mong already has his expansion coming up right now. He should have his first. I would actually prefer if Mong makes the bunker right now, because generally speaking, when you go 2-hatch meter, you have to be very careful as a Terran player of a Zerg going like, let's say a very quick Zergling attack, just to get your Marine count down low enough so that Mutalists don't have to worry about challenging too much. And that is a very action-packed crowd here. Wow.
I know. The size of the crowd has tripled since...
Remember, it's only like, what is it, like 4 p.m. in Korea? In the afternoon?
Well, it started off at 1, so it's about 2:20, I think, in Korea.
That's even better. That's crazy for that.
Yeah, middle of the day. So here's something I just thought of. Do you think Hyuk has a really big advantage of knowing this wide range of builds from all the Kespa experience that he has, that maybe like his variation of a 2-hatch Muta play is something that Mong couldn't easily identify, even if he's scouting, just because Hyuk knows how to make his build order look so disguised?
Well, the thing about that is that because we have like internet, I guess, and because the prevalence of all these VODs and demos, I don't think that's an issue for Mong. Hyuk was not hiding the fact that he's going to act Muta. Mong knows that, and Mong is doing this proper reaction that's been theory crafted, which is basically the 2-rack academy build. Play defense until you get your medics out, then go for the aggressive mid play. So it's not like either player doing anything non-standard. It's just basically going to come down to which player is more familiar and comfortable with the nuances of this play. Like, when does Mong attack? When does Hyuk attack? All these interactions that could possibly happen.
Yeah, and that SCV is getting all the full information there. No Zergs to eradicate it from the base here, and so probably stim and range going to be getting upgraded here. Range is actually pretty important upgrade to deal with mutas on the Marines.
Nice push out here by Monk here, just to force Hyuk to mess around with it. Oh, no, medic,
he's going to get 3 links inside the base.
Oh my goodness, Monk.
Is he going to get some SEV kills? This could be huge. 1 already getting picked off.
1 down. He should be able to get 2 more here, I think.
Oh, he's going to get the eBay too.
That is not good. Alright, one Zerg will go down, but he's going to get, he might get a 3rd SEV here. He's going to get the 3rd one. No. Oh, wow. That medic repair.
Yeah. So, yep, those SCVs, they're mech and bio.
I mean, SCV's Invo, man. That's why you play Terror.
What a disgusting concept. Let's repair and heal these.
So anyway, we got the first 6 mutas coming out for Hyuk here. So this is going to be the very crucial part for Hyuk. He needs to damage Mong's economy. If Mong can stabilize without having much economical damage, then Hyuk will most definitely lose this game. So Hyuk's game plan here now, he has to kill as many SVs as he can, get down as many turrets as he can. Mong's game plan is to basically not let that happen.
Right. You know, that initial Muta micro actually wasn't that bad for Hyuk. He's looking pretty good. Killing off that turret. He had 1 bad shot when the Marines came over, but he left before he committed himself too much and took too much damage. So making some good decisions early on here, and now going to be looking to try and sweep into the back of Mong's main base.
Well, Hyuk can get to the 3rd here, but I am not a big fan of that 3rd location because it's so close to the Terran. Oh my goodness, Hyuk found a sweet spot in Mong's defensive here.
Wow. That's a lot of SCVs.
Mong can't even properly engage. Oh my goodness, that whole control micro is so good for Hyuk. Hyuk can do way more than what he can bargain for, and he's still going to be able to escape from this relatively escape. He loses the mutilus, I think, for this, but look at how many Marines and SCVs he killed. There's another mutilus lost there.
It's a really good play. Is he going to make out with any? Yes, he is. And I like that he saw the opportunity also where like 3 Marines just barely strafed away from the medics. And he's like, that's an opportunity. I'm going to get that. And he went back in and tried to take down a few more before he left the base. And so that's like really good map awareness while trying to maintain the macro game. And I like that he's able to expand. I know you weren't liking where he put his 3rd, but at least he's thinking about the fact that he needs to transition out of this 2-base play. The damage is not going to be moving forward, so let's get into the mid game.
Right. And you notice that Mong's got scanned the top right, because that would be the normal spawning location for Zerg's 3rd in this situation.
Yeah, and he actually doesn't know where the 3rd base is, so he might think that Hyuk's all in right now.
And definitely looking like it. So Hyuk just got 3 turrets there for nothing.
Yeah, that was awesome. And he's forcing the SCVs from to mine only on the left side. So a good transition out of here might be if he has enough Mutalists to get Hive Tech and to go into Guardians.
Right.
Of course, we're not going to see that yet. He's just going to continue this relentless assault, and he's taking a 3rd gas. so he's going to be very good in the economic game to continue to produce mutas out of 3 different hatcheries. And so a lot of larvae available to him to make these forces.
Right, once again, Mung still doesn't know about the third base location, but the thing is, once it gets discovered, Mung is going to actually be an advantage, positionally. Because the base is on the way to Hyuk's second base. So,
oh, I think this might be a little bit of overcommittal.
No, he still has 8 mutilates here. He's perfectly fine here. And plus, he still has more
I thought there was going to be a little bit of too much of a flank on those Marines, and he wouldn't be able to make it out, but he does. So still staying in this game, and the commentators are going nuts because Mong doesn't know about this third.
Oh my goodness. They know that Hyuk has no tech after this. Like,
right.
We haven't got to see his main base yet. We're not sure if he's going high here, but I mean, years later, the Marine Metaforce is just going to be way too big for Hyuk to properly challenge it. At which point, we're going to need to have the additional tech. So there is still no additional tech here, so this is basically kind of an all-in-ish play. So Hyuk does snipe a scout in the SCV here, but the thing though is that I don't think he actually done enough damage at this point. He does have +1 carapace, so his mules still get able to live longer, but once again,
that's all working out for him. But Huck might have needed to transfer into like a lurker style play. He was doing a good job picking up those turrets in the natural base. Imagine if he had a game plan of switching into lurkers. He could have applied pressure at the front. But like you were saying, he didn't do enough damage to the Terran economy. And sitting on 2 bases is not anything a Terran player would be uncomfortable with.
Right, but here's the thing though. This reminds me way too much of his Kespa era, where Hyuk would have the same problem. He has fantastic mutilus control, but he has very bad, terrible transitions.
Right.
Oh, and this gets scouted now. Oh my goodness, Mong SCV's now sees. He's going to see the creep. He's going to see that third base. Mong knows now what's up. He knows.
How is he going to react to this, though? That mute account's getting quite massive. And can he have that J level attack at 2 locations style micro?
Thing though, if Mong can get that science facility up, that irradiate's going to come out, and that's going to be game.
Wow. If he can finish that, yes, and it's going to take a little bit to get his science vessel, but irradiate will be so strong.
Right. I would actually would have preferred it if Mong built it at the bottom of his base rather than at the top, because it seems to here that Hyuk has not been able to actually enter Mong's base that much.
Right.
Are those slow lurkers?
That's what I'm wondering. Is he going to be dropping stuff out of those overlords? That would be really interesting. Something we didn't anticipate.
Oh my goodness! Hyuk is going for the double control group micro. Here it comes. He's able to fully challenge it. There's not much unit coming in from Mong here. Is Hyuk able to win this out completely? That +1 character is doing a lot of protection here for Hyuk.
He's doing so good so far.
However,
dwindling down that Marine count, it looks like a bunch of medics. This is a ladies' lingerie party inside of the Terran base right now.
Oh my goodness. A lot of turret stuff for Mong here. He needs to get that vessel out at the moment, right now. Mong just needs to live until he gets that vessel out. Get the irradiate out.
Oh, is he going to focus the vessel though? He's taking so much damage on those turrets from 2 different locations.
Has to be repair in, but that vessel needs irradiate. Where is the irradiate? It's not done yet. That tank needs lift. Come on, tank, lift.
He needs to focus on that vessel, but the vessel finally moved back behind a couple turrets near that command center.
And once again, this is the problem we were talking about, the transition. If Mong can survive this, he's going to be able to transition fine.
Right.
Oh, there's the vessel. Okay, the vessel. He's now diving in for the irradiate. Does the irradiate come out yet? Nope. He's still researching.
Wow, but Hyuk, he's losing so many mutas to these turrets. He overcommitted.
He did. And this is the same problem he had in his Kespa days. This is the exact same problem he had in his Kespa days. He has no transition.
Mong cannot believe it. That got so close. Look how happy he is. I feel like if he stopped attacking that main base and went over to the natural, he could have had it. The turret's too strong in that main.
Hyuk had got his third base. The whole point of doing this is so that you can safely get a third base while trying to damage the Terran economy. Problem was that once Mong gets that vessel out safely, that entire game plan goes to the toilet. You just flush it away. It's useless. Hyuk had no transition. This is the same problem he had in his Kespa days. This is why I make the SKT joke, because they all had the same problem. SKT Zerg can micro, they can't transition. If Yuck had Lurkers there, if Yuck had Defilers even, you can even just go straight Hive into Defilers and get Guardian. That would have been a completely normal and fine game plan. But staying on Mutalisk that long and not killing the Terran off sooner or later is a problem.
Man.
Yeah, that was a very all-in build.
Very all-in build.
And I think, and it's just, I mean, his game, that was fantastic. Mutalisk micro there, but I mean, these Terran players nowadays are actually pretty good at holding this stuff out. I'm surprised, though, that Hmong was able to hold out that well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to be impressed with by both players, regardless of the fact that Hyuk lost. His micro really was very, very good when he was able to focus on it. You did see that when he did do that 2 control group attack, he stopped microing that first control group and took a ton of unnecessary hits, it looked like. And then Hmong able to overcome such disparity, you know, losing his entire Marine force, but able to keep his turrets alive. It was very impressive from both players.
Right. Well, I mean, that just goes to show, like, the SKT problem is still happening.
Yep, SKT Zergs will never die.
Like, that is a perfectly fine and a perfectly acceptable game plan. Like, if your build order, you're going to go 2x Muta, because you have very strong Mutalist micro. You need to have a game plan if that failed. For example, my 2x Mutalist failed. What do I do next? Do I make Lurkers? Do I mass Sunken and just go straight down? Hi, what do I do? Like, what happened if I don't actually kill him off before he gets his vessels out or his radiate out? What happens then? Like, these are very things you need to consider, like, when you're picking such an aggressive build. What happens if it fails, you know?
Right.
And you can even take this as an example. This example game we're showing right here. Bisu goes for the double proxy gate, but it works, but Larva was able to win, so now both players have to figure out what's going to happen, you know?
Yeah, you know what? I feel like maybe that game was Quanro inspired.
Well,
because Quanro is someone who also has no game plan.
I think Quanro's getting better at it. Like his game sense has been getting better, and like the way he approaches the game. It's just that he's not used to it yet, so it's still just going to take him time.
Is he getting better, or like because he wants to, or are people figuring out his game style and forcing him to get better by getting him into the late game?
Well, there might be multiple factors though, but I think like since with the revival of Broodor the way it is, you just have to you gotta have the motivation, have the drive to actually understand the game itself.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're seeing here. Like in the Kespa era, you could have actually been like an okay or mediocre Zerg player or mediocre X-Race player, and still been fine because of the dynamics of the having to play in team games. As long as you were like able to win a couple games here and there. But now that you have to play for yourself, like you have to force you to really think about whether or not you can do it. You know. So,
well,
I mean,
we're gonna have a little bit to wait here. I think I guess it's fun that they're playing a Bisu versus Larva replay from the round of 24, which was just, you know, a couple weeks ago, and then they're back in the same group. Larva and Bisu run into each other at every tournament, it seems like, and unfortunately, it's an SKT team kill where Bisu comes out on top for the majority of the time.
I like how you're so confident in predicting that, like. No sweat, no change of emotion. Bisu's gonna win.
Oh, dude, I'm nervous as hell.
you know, it's gonna be the Bisu OSL curse still, right?
Yeah, and you know what? It's gonna be slow lurker drops on a Heartbreak Ridge.
I don't think we're gonna get to that map though.
God. Oh man. If this happens, I'm gonna have to call myself Larva Dagger.
Well, we try to make you become Olympus Dagger, but
I know.
That
Man,
didn't work.
okay,
That
so
didn't work.
if Bisu gets shipped off to defend South Korea against North Korea, and I'm going to have to choose a new person to cheer for 2 years. So my whole world's kind of turned upside down. I actually always had it in my head that when Bisu went into the army that I would retire from like my StarCraft involvement.
But then all these things happened.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, the StarCraft scene is more alive than ever. It's completely inspirational. I feel like if I stop doing anything for Brood War, then I'm letting Sonic down. And you can't disappoint Sonic. That man is just like the greatest person on Earth. So, gotta hang in there.
That is true.
But I was thinking of dabbling in cheering for another race, maybe. Like, stop being a Protoss fan. Maybe cheer for, like, a Terran or a Zerg or something.
I have a better idea. How to become a StarCraft fan. Cheer for your good players. Cheer for the players who play the game that you enjoy.
That sounds ridiculous.
Nah, too much logic. We can't do that.
Yeah. Too much logic in that. I need... Who's the most handsome non-Protoss player? Because all the Protoss players are the handsome players. I mean, I don't know what happened. The Zerg players got plagued. So I need to find the best-looking SOSPA era Terran or Zerg player.
K-Dog.
Who?
K-Dog. C.KH. C.KH.
Oh, no, non-Protoss.
Oh, non-Protoss.
Yeah, that's what I said. Protoss got all the good-looking people.
That is a very tough decision to make.
Yeah, Mong? No. I'm sorry. He looks like Donkey Kong.
Yeah, we're gonna do a lot of research into this.
Yeah, Larva. He may make a really good-looking booth girl, but no. Yeah. You know, Hyuk's actually not a bad-looking dude, but I need someone who's a little bit better to cheer for. I need someone who's going to be in every tournament. What do people say in the chat? Who do they think is the best-looking non-Protoss?
Effort and Piano, but I mean, Effort's like an alien, so that doesn't really count.
Yeah. Do you know that Effort? Like part of the reason Effort left CJ
is their drama.
Is because of his looks.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, they didn't want to pay him more because he was ugly. I think that this is terrible. Oh, someone was talking about Mini. Yeah, he's a good Protoss player.
Mini's Protoss, that doesn't count.
Yeah, that was back in the day. Toss Girl.
Well, we can do Lita, but Lita has to come back from selling whatever he just
Oh, that would be so awesome. I miss Lita. He's like one of my favorite Terrans.
He needs to stop selling shoes or whatever he's doing to come back.
Yeah. Oh, imagine if Flash came back. I would totally, like, mess with everybody's mind to become, like, a diehard Flash fan. Show them how to actually do Flash.
Alright. Flash comes back, Team League gets restored, you become a KT fan, Blindor becomes an SKT fan. What's up, Swedes?
Yeah, the polar ice caps melt. And global warming's real.
And pigs can fly. I mean, it could happen, you know?
Yep.
That's the last step I think that needs to happen. A consistent team league. That's like, say, at least 6 or 8 teams. Once that happens, then we can, like, say, okay, this is the prime time of Brood War once again.
And we're nearly there. I mean, the Sonic Team League did pretty good. And the reason why they're not doing the Sonic Team League now is because they're pretty well scheduled with individual tournaments.
Right. Well, I would just love to have that team league come back, because then you have an identity to cheer for rather than just a player.
Right.
You would have a brand, a team, you know, a group of players.
But that's why.
And that's also the best way to get up and coming players on the spotlight.
Right. Well, I think the like smaller tournaments too, like the Mackie Star League, the 41 Star League. A lot of those individual tournaments where they can get some of the lesser known players in are really healthy for the scene, And like stuff like the SRT, the Sonic ranking tournaments, I wish those would come back too. I know Sonic's busy trying to do so many games at once, but like those were really important because they were kind of casual tournaments that were still really good and got a lot of exposure.
지지를 받아내면서 1승, 박재혁 선수는 1패로 마무리가 됐습니다. 박재혁 선수가 할 수 있는 모든 것을 다.
So guys, we're going to be watching Bisu versus Larva on Heartbreak Ridge. Obviously, as mentioned earlier, there's that scare that Larva can pull some sort of yellow strategy off. But looking at statistics here, Bisu has his worst matchup is actually PvZ in the Sospa era. He's at a 65% win rate. Yes, a measly 65. And then we have Larva here, who has a pretty solid ZVP. He's defying, or I guess he's just dominating here. He's enforcing this statistic that Zerg is better than Protoss with a 60% win rate. So, I mean, it's his best matchup. This is his, game to lose here, in a sense.
Right. You know what's interesting about this is that if you don't know this, for everyone that's new in the channel tonight, Bisu and Larva were training partners, which is why this matchup is so much even cooler.
Right.
Back in the Kespa days, they didn't play each other all the time. So it's always like, quite a joy to see what creative things these players can come up with to beat each other. Because they know
and to be a training partner is actually really important too. I mean, you got to be pretty good to be worth training against.
Right. It's like, remember, like all of Bisu PvZ's dominance in Kespa days was as a result of his training with Larva. So that should tell you how much of a ZVP monster that Larva is. So this is going to be a crazy game, no doubt.
Yeah, these guys are still pretty good friends too, and play a lot of show matches against each other on the streams.
Right.
And, so it's pretty fun overall. Now Larva, that shirt that is actually making him look pretty buff. I wonder if he's been going to the gym lately.
Why not? I think everybody's been going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like he definitely lost some weight.
Yeah, definitely looking good. Looks like he's ready to take this match seriously. And I hope he at least puts up a pretty good performance here.
Well, he will put up a good performance. There's no doubt in that. The only question is, how awesome will the game become?
Right.
This is the last game of the night, so I'm Amazingxkcd here with BisuDagger, and please no 99 gate. Not again. Not again. I mean, I don't think I could handle that again.
That's right.
No cheese, please.
Alright guys, the countdown has just begun. Just a few more seconds and we're going to be jumping into Heartbreak Ridge, a 2-player map. So, where one spawns, the other one's opposite.
Alright. It is Heartbreak Ridge, ladies and gentlemen. And looking at the minimap, we have Bisu as the yellow Protoss and Larva as the red Zerg on the right side of the map. So
this is a map that has proven to be really beneficial for Protoss players in the round of 24. Can Bisu capitalize on that again, or is Larva going to come up with a sick strategy here? So first to note, there is no spawning pool built, so no 4-pool.
Oh, that's a bummer.
It's a bummer indeed. I know Sale would have been really happy if he could have seen a 4-pool.
Well, we won't get a 4-pool, but I think we might get a 9-pool here. There's still a chance for that 9-pool. That's the
right.
Oh, let's see what it is. That's 8 drones right there. It could be an. Oh no, it's not a 9-pool.
So, guys, we want to thank you for listening to our cast today. Sale, obviously, he has gone to France. So, while he's on vacation,
oh, did you see that?
Whoa,
put that on top. Put it on hold.
Oh,
Larva just checked outside his natural for a proxy pylon, alright? That's how scared Larva is of Protoss cheese. And Bisu just did a pylon scout. So it can still happen.
Right. Yeah, I like that too. I was like, oh, is he going to build the hatchery? No, he went up the ramp. Okay, I guess he's really worried about some sort of proxy scout.
See, the interesting thing about this is that with this spawn position, a pro player could actually block that Zerg choke point at the main base with a forge and a pylon on the high ground. Which is why Larva checked it right away. Because if you're a Zerg player and you're just doing, your standard play, a Protoss could actually just flat out camp you in your own base. And it's near impossible to get out.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, he almost got the drone too. So if you do get that pylon on the high ground too, and you're going for a forge build, or a cannon, you could go for a cannon rush, and you could build a cannon on the high ground, and then you could build one on the low ground, and take that position, and really keep the Zerg contained.
Right.
So, Larva getting lucky there, he didn't have to deal with that early on. It's going to allow him to get that additional hatchery, even though drone did get low, Bisu preventing that natural from coming up as fast as Larva would have liked.
Right. And what's interesting to note here is that that Bisu's wall, I'm not sure, I think I need your Protoss expertise on that. Is that lane type between the gas and the forge?
I don't believe it is, actually. And
that's going to be a problem.
It's one of those, it's just one of those awkward entrances to forge off. But the thing is, if you do have one cannon, he should be pretty safe from any lings anyway, just because of the way it's set up. So I think that it's not a really big deal, even if it's not link tight. We have plenty of maps where the natural it's wide open, and you actually need to pull like a probe to clog up one of the holes. So if he did need to do that, he could have just pulled a worker.
Alright, so Chad is telling me it's link tight, so I will believe them in that. So we got the third base coming up for Larva here in the top right. This is totally normal play coming out from both players right now, which is pretty surprising given that we knew what happened in the last matchup. So I'd be quite surprised if Bisu does lose his probe here.
Yeah, that's unorthodox of Bisu in the early game.
Alright. So thank you. Oh, wait. Is that a Hydra done, ladies and gentlemen? We are going to see a 3-hatch Hydraless attack.
Oh my goodness.
It's Larva now that's going to be the serving the cheese.
You know what? I just got informed that Samsung Khan was on the phone with Larva earlier today, and a couple of their Zerg players were able to talk with Larva.
Oh my goodness.
Shine in particular.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we call this the good old freshly grind 3-hatch Hydra cheese.
What are we watching, the OSL?
No, I think I think we're watching OSL here. OSL round of 8, Bisu versus Shine. Game number 5. Winner gets to play a Jaedong in the round of 4, and we got some fresh cheese coming from Larva.
This is how the curse began. Wait, what are those drones doing?
They're minding the back. They're gonna do a backdoor Hydra attack.
Oh, it's not gonna work though. Bisu put a pylon up there.
It doesn't matter if it's not gonna work there. You can still do it, and like you can still pull it off.
Well, you know what? He should just build a cannon on the high ground. Prevent them from being able to mine from there. But he'll just bring a Zealot over to deal with that. A couple Hydras though are going to be coming out here.
And the Hydras do have speed though.
Zealots. He is cannoning up, so he is dealing with the threat early on, looking like he is in a decent situation. Oh, losing a probe though. Not going to be able to scout out around the map. But he does have.
He should be able to snipe that.
What does he have?
Whoa! That first cannon's not in range of the other cannons. Oh, Larva managed to get a cannon for free here, actually. It's pretty impressive. Those drones need to be mining that mineral, though. Otherwise, it's just 2 drones being wasted. Good mark coming in from Larva here. Is he going to lose that first overlord to that?
Oh, his Corsair is out on the map here.
I'm not sure what Larva's going to do with those 2 drones. I mean, Bisu's already committed himself to 5 cannons here. I mean, Larva only made like 4 Hydras so far. Is this a fake? Did Larva
we've actually seen Larva do these types of fakes before and go into a larger eco game.
Right, but there's no lair coming out from Larva, so it may not be fake.
And no additional gases are taken either. I mean, this is one of the a full all in really, because even if you do like a 6-hatch Hydra, like try and transition, because you're looking forward to taking that second gas and getting an additional Evo chamber, so you could actually get the upgrades on your Hydra list. But this is still sitting on that 3-base, you know, low econ game.
Alright, Bisu is now noticing that his mineral is being mined out, so he's going to make 2 cannons in the back door here. However, this may not be a fake though, because we have seen time and time again, Zero is actually one of the Zerg players that is a huge fan of doing this early Hydras build that's actually basically a mid-game build. Like, he likes to definitely go Hydras before Lair, but instead of like going all in, he just gets a lot of hatcheries and then gets Lair. Because as a Zerg player, you really don't need the high tech until way late in the game. So you can just delay that, get your army out, get the map control right now as Larva's doing. Because right now, Beast has to worry about his backdoor. He has 8 Hydras on his high ground right now, and they can attack the probes.
You know, this is completely on BSU too, because he did have that pylon in range of the mineral patch, so he knew what was happening. But as you can see, the Corsairs were focusing on Overlords really heavily during that little skirmish, and that was because he solely planned on that DT to clean up all the Hydralisks. So because Overlords are in slow movement, the Corsairs are going to be able to help Bisu defend at his base. And oh man, Larva's looking upset. Did that supply block him? He's got quite a few Overlords that are dead now.
Alright, so we're now noticing that Larva's going to transition out of this, but Bisu didn't really lose much of this, so Bisu is actually the advantageous position right now. Larva needs to get at least 2 more hatcheries right now, I think. You can try to expand back. So Bisu has, oh my goodness, 5 gateways? That is a lot of gateways at this moment. And
yeah, that's pretty significant considering how heavy he cannoned early on to deal with the Zerg threat.
Right. Oh. So I do like his defensive posture as Larva is taking. Like, he has a couple Overlords at both his all his bases. He has Hydras there, he can defend. I mean, the Overlords are slow, but I mean, a single DG should not be that much of a threat.
Ooh, taking down a few Hydras already though. Going into this pool of drones here, and the DT looking to get more kills, sitting on 4 now. That +1 attack is so solid. It just one-swipes the drones. So very deadly attack for Bisu, getting 5 kills before the DT is killed off. And now he's going to be able to switch into this High Templar tech too. Got a considerable amount of gas at this point in the game.
And it looks like we have DC Bisu on the main map going across the map right now with his High Templars and his rest of his units. This is a very scary push though. Larva doesn't have the hatchery count to deal with this at the moment. He only had 3 hatcheries that he can work with. So his Larva is very minimum. However, his Larva can snipe those High Templars. Oh my goodness.
Oh, he snuck one in. And there's nothing here to defend right now. Hopefully those are Hydras morphing. Oh, he's trying to circle the DT. And now the army's going to get pulled out of position. This is brilliant for Bisu because he's going in for the attack. Now that Larva's attention has been drawn away, Larva's got to know that this attack is going to be happening, but still, he's not going to be in position to deal with it. And Bisu is just showing his beast mode right now.
Oh, nice storm going out from Bisu there. Fantastic first storm coming in. Oh, a beautiful storm on the drones right there, and a nice third storm in the third one as well. Larva is like completely falling apart here.
Yeah, those storms were really good, and these Zealots with the +1 attack and the speed upgrade are way too difficult to deal with. The drones look like they were cleaned up inside of that in the main base, and Larva's gonna tap out. What a game. Bisu well outplayed Larva, and it may have been more of just a really poor choice of build order for Larva than anything.
Right. I mean, you can definitely fake a 3-hatch Hydra, just that you need to have that Larva count for that mid-game attack that Bisu committed. It wasn't even like a very strong attack that Bisu made. It's not like his special +1 zealot timing. It was just basically, yeah, I'm going to attack you before you can stabilize once again.
I think the issue here is maybe like Larva wanted to go for 3-hatch and then talked himself out of it. He thought maybe Bisu dealt with it too well, but didn't know what he should do, whether he should try and continue to go all in or try and get back into a macro-based build, but never found time to build an additional hatchery. Even a 4th hatch could have really helped him out. So Larvin making some poor decisions in that game to be able to deal with how Bisu defended.
Right. I mean, once again, like, you can definitely fake a 3-hatch Hydra. It's just that, as we saw again with the Hyuk game, just the poor transitions that the losers of both games had. The only one Zerg winning today, I have to Zerg, but that makes me pretty sad.
Yeah, well, the only Zerg that won was in a ZVZ too, so it's a default win. But looking at the results, we're seeing Sack with an incredible game over Movie. If you guys are coming in late and missed that, go ahead and watch the replay because it was really exciting to watch. And we're seeing Zero with a really good micro Muta kill over Killer. Monk with a great defense over Hyuk, and then Bisu just kind of doing his thing against Larva and winning his game.
Right. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is Amazingxkcd here with BisuDagger. It is now almost 2 a.m.
Yep. Got to prepare ourselves for work tomorrow.
No, work in 6 hours. That's the worst part.
Yeah. I guess I could sleep in an extra couple hours and go to work at 9 or something if I wanted to.
I probably could too, but I mean, that was a very good excuse for why I would be like half hour later than normal.
Oh, yeah. I got flex hours, but I like getting off work not, late in the day. Alright guys, thank you so